Everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. I'm joining you from the work office today. I've just set up and bringing you this horrible announcement, unfortunately, JG, that Roger Federer has announced he's going to be missing the rest of this year as he is going to be undergoing another knee surgery to try and fix that problem so that he can get back on court, hopefully, and give us another Grand Slam attempt in 2022. What do you make of it, JG?
Yes, it is sad. It really is. It wasn't like the usual announcements we've seen recently where it's just some long piece of text. It was actually a video he put out, which I quite liked, to be fair. I thought it had a nice personal feel to it. And you could see in the sadness in his voice. There's been so much aftermath of this, and it's to be expected. It's Roger Federer here. And we've got all the talks of, is this the end? Are we going to see him back? It's super difficult for someone 40 years old to be having surgery after surgery and then be expected to come back and compete at the highest level with all these young players coming through. It's so tough, and it is super emotional because I'm not as positive as a lot of other people I've seen. There's a lot more positive people than me thinking this is the right thing for him to do, and hopefully we get to see him back on court, playing, competing again. I just don't think it's really feasible. And everyone's more or less saying it, I think, in more hope than actual realism. And I know we've got the statement up there, so maybe we'll just go on to that and listen to him. Sure. But it's very, there he is, look, it's quite big. I know. We've got a big Roger on the screen.
Big head.
Feels like we've got him on the podcast.
I know. What does Roger have to say anyway? Yeah, it's a very good one. I'll just play it for you guys.
Hey everybody, it's Roger here. I hope you're doing well. Listen, I just wanted to update you or give you a bit of an update what's been going on since Wimbledon. As you can imagine, it's not been simple. I've been doing a lot of checks with the doctors as well on my knee, getting all the information as I hurt myself further during the grass court season and Wimbledon, and it's just not the way to go forward. So unfortunately, they told me for the medium to long term to feel better, I will need surgery.
Do you want to pause it?
To do it.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be on.
Because we might as well talk about things. So this is from Wimbledon. So since Wimbledon, this injury sort of persisted, and it's for the medium long term. He thinks the best thing to do right now is take and go for the surgery. Do you think this is the right thing for him to be doing off the bat? Obviously, it's not our place to say. He knows his body. He's got doctors. He's got big teams advising him on what the best thing to do is. Yeah. Do you think it's the right thing?
I think so, yeah. I don't think that he's going to really make a dent at the US Open based upon what we saw at Wimbledon. I know that there was flashes of brilliance in there, and he was sort of getting better until he got worse. And that's the worry. The deeper you go in a tournament, it's concerning because his body's not going to hold up, especially if it's not in its 100% fit state. And he probably knows that. He got to the quarterfinals and he sort of ran out of gas. He came up against a very good Hurkacz as well. He's not going to be able to compete with players like that. And unless he is an extra 10% or an extra 20% on top of what he already was. And even then it's going to be fighting against the age, fighting against father time, so to speak. Yeah, it's tough. I think it's the right decision, though.
Yeah, well, you got to listen to what they know more than what we do. It's got to be done. I just think this, for me, sort of bodes the end kind of thing. I have that feeling about it. I don't know if you want to continue.
Yeah, let's do it.
Crutches for many weeks, and then also
crutches as well.
For many months, so it's going to be difficult, of course, in some ways, but at the same time, I know it's the right thing to do because I want to be healthy. I want to be running around later as well again. And I want to give myself a glimmer of hope also to return to the tour in some shape or form.
Yeah, do you want to pause there?
I am realistic.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get me
No worries.
I feel like you just get wrapped up in it. You just listen to him forever.
I feel like he's on the podcast.
He's got that kind of voice, which is sort of like soothing.
Yeah.
Very soothing.
ASMR style voice.
I
Roger
forgot what he
Federer.
said, but basically, I think it's about he wants to, in later in life, have a chance of running around. I'm not sure what he means by that. Does he mean just normal life? I know George
Yeah,
here saying
yeah.
for his quality of life after tennis, is it worth the risk of trying to get back to competing again?
Well, you've got to remember he does
Because he's a
have
human being. Remember, he's a
family.
father. He's got a family. Is he going to want to be crippled at say 50, where he can't even walk?
Well, exactly. I don't think that that's a very good retirement, is it? If you go into retirement and you can't even walk around and enjoy your retirement.
Especially if you're doing all of this to get back onto tour, but then not compete and just be there just to sort of have a send off to the fans. Is it really worth all of this strain on your body? And I'm coming from a fan's perspective where selfishly I want to see him play tennis, but I'm talking about taking myself out of it and all the fans. You think about him as an individual. Is it worth it when he's not really going to be able to beat Djokovic, is he? He's not really going to beat Nadal. Probably not going to be able to beat, say, the likes of Medvedev on the hard court, Tsitsipas on clay. He's not going to. What's he going to be able to do? And that's just looking at the elite. I'm talking even some like 30, 40 in the world, some of these younger guys and that. Is he really going to be able to beat, say, an informed Yannick Sinner on his day?
I don't know.
It's tough. Is it worth it, all of this? Is it really worth it?
Well, we've seen what's happened to Andy Murray coming back from a very serious injury as well. It's a very long road back as well. It's not just, I'll just come back and I'll get back to the top of the game. Roger did well to get fourth rounder in Roland Garros and get to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. That it just proves how good he is at the sport. It doesn't mean that his body is going to not give up on him. And I'm just worried longer out after having already a year out and having another 6 months out to a year out again. He's not going to be better when he comes back, is he? It's going to be deteriorating. Everybody else gets a little bit better when he's away. You've got to remember they're already closing the ground on people like Nadal, who are already probably above Federer in these tournaments.
He's way above him.
Well, that's what I mean. So you've got people like Tsitsipas has already beaten like people like Nadal on hard courts and stuff like that. Has managed. We've got Djokovic. He's sort of running away with all the Grand Slams at the moment. And you saw the last time they did play, Djokovic absolutely destroyed Roger Federer. And I don't see it really changing. I would love to see him back on the court. I would love.
Oh, is Ben gone?
Oh, sorry, I don't know. I just cut out there for a sec.
Continue what you're saying. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. I just don't think the Grand Slams are a realistic goal now. I would like to see him back, but maybe for just 1 or 2 tournaments a year, maybe just so that you could see him and just celebrate his career. Really, that's I think we're at that sort of stage. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm hoping we get to see Roger back to his best, but he's going to be 41 next year. It's not going to get any easier.
Talking about the time scale of things, I know you said how long is it going to be? Is it going to be like another year? The way he makes it sound is like he wants to get back on the court in some shape or form. It's obviously this US Open. He's pulled out of that. That's obvious. This whole entire season, I'm just assuming that that's what that means. He's not factually said that, but it's going to take a while to have an operation and everything.
Yeah.
But how long of next year as well? Is he going to be, say, ready for, say, an Australian Open start of the year? I very much doubt it. I think it's going to be maybe like, another 8-9 months? 8 months or something? It could be.
Wimbledon, I think.
Am I being a bit over the top there? Maybe 6-7 months?
I think he's going to aim for Wimbledon. That's my honest thing. I think John Silk's saying it here in the live chat. Good to have you in, John. He's saying he's got 4 options. 1, bow out with a farewell at Wimbledon. 2, the same, but in Basel, is in his home country. The Laver Cup, maybe. Or number 4, maybe we'll never see him again on the court. Which that would be a very, very sad end if this is the end. I hope it's not. I hope that I'm sure he will try and at least come back.
I think this is the feeling of everyone, journalists, fans, other players. They want to see Roger Federer go out on his own terms. That's like the big thing. Let Roger go out when he's ready to go out and without his body sort of shutting down and forcing him to stop. I think Andy Murray has been someone very similar in that regard. He could have easily just let the body beat him and just think, I'm not going to do it. But he wants to do it on his own terms. He wants to go back to tour, He's not really competing with the best players at the moment. He's trying, but he's struggling quite a bit. But he wants to be able to say, I'm enjoying the game. I'm ready to retire when I'm ready to retire. I think that's what Federer is trying to do as well. And it will be a shame if he can't, because what a legend. To think that we may have already watched his last match on court, which would have been him getting bageled at Wimbledon. Let's remember that. His last set, was a bagel at Wimbledon. I think that's going to be a very sorry state of affairs. And no one wants to see that. No. Not even people who don't like Federer, say big Djokovic fans or Rafa fans. Everyone wants to see him come back and retire on his own terms. And
I think so.
But is it feasible? Is it worth all the damage and stuff it's going to cause to his body? Is he going to be able to come back? Del Potro, I don't know if you saw, he sent a nice message out to Federer saying, I look forward to seeing you back on court soon. So I think Del Potro is aiming to be back. I'm not sure, maybe sooner than what we think. So maybe we'll have Federer out for a bit and we'll have Del Potro replace him. I'm just hoping, if that is to be the case, Del Potro can last long enough. Just wait until Federer comes back. So it'd be great to see them both together, say, enter in the same tournament.
Yeah, it'd be really nice. And it's
maybe Wawrinka as well. Let's get Wawrinka in there.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, unfortunately, the Del Potro thing. Just one of the what-ifs of tennis, to be honest. And that's arguably more sad than Roger Federer. Roger Federer won 20 Grand Slams. He's done it. He's been there. He's got the T-shirt. We just want to see the last. We're trying to squeeze the last little bit out of him. Whereas Del Potro, we didn't even get to the tip of the iceberg, did we? We only got to see the one amazing thing he could do, and then injury, and that is much more devastating than Roger on what we're having to deal with here. This is just somebody's age catching up with them. It's sad, but it's reality. And to think about it, in about 5 years' time, it's probably going to be the same for Djokovic and the same for Nadal as well. And they're going to be the same age as Roger is now, and we're going to be probably in the same sort of conversations yet again. And by that time, we're hoping somebody has really taken on the mantle of, I'm the next great player on tour and I'm the one to beat. So we'll have to wait and see. Should we finish off this? Let's
see what Roger has to say about it.
Wrong. I know how difficult it is at this age right now to do another surgery and try it. But look, I want to be healthy, and I will go through the rehab process, I think, also with the goal while I'm still active, which I think is going to help me during this long period of time. So also big thank you already now, maybe for all your messages that are going to be coming in, because you guys are always incredible. You always think of me. Some of you suffer with me. Some of you just wish me the best. I want to see me back on court or see me smile. I am doing okay, so I appreciate that. And I'll update you as I move along with my rehab. So I wish you all the best, and I'll check in with you soon. Take care. Bye.
Oh,
there we go.
Some nice words anyway from Big Rog. Yeah, nice speaking voice though, and he's we can read you
very soothing.
Read a good bedtime story or something like that. His kids love that.
Well, they're going to have more opportunities for it. He's not going to be playing tennis. So.
Exactly right. Well,
you got George asking, what do you think his goal is then? So if he is to have this knee surgery, which he said he's going to be having now, is his actual goal to come back and win a slam, or is it just more or less to say what Andy Murray's doing? Is he going to just try and get on, play some tournaments, enjoy the crowd? There'll be packed crowds regardless. Doesn't matter if he's not playing well. He just has to be there. It's just him.
I think
he's going to have a good reception. He just win an ATP tournament, a 250.
Just a specific one that means a lot to him. I think that if he can get one more like ATP title under his belt, and if he handpicks it correctly, he might be able to get into one.
Wouldn't even bother with some of the smaller tournaments, because if he's not got that many tournaments left in him, why not just prioritize the big ones? Give him a proper shot.
Yeah, I know, but
when you've become that great, mate, he's not going to want to go and play in 250 just to say he's won one.
In his home country or something like that.
In Basel, maybe.
You never know. I mean, it might be a 500 or something like that. I still think if the field is correct and the right people enter, he still could maybe have a chance. But Who knows? Maybe he wants to come on GTL. There's a spot for you here if you want to.
Oh, we got Gaming with Nate saying it. He's going to have a lot more downtime, so maybe we'll get him on the podcast, do a few watch-alongs with him.
That's it.
And you've got RS making a good point. Murray's now 105 in the ranking. Where Roger will be when he retires, is it better to stop at the top or the bottom? Because ultimately, if he's to make this comeback after knee surgery, he's going to be very similar to Murray, if not a lot worse off, if I'm honest, maybe 200 in the world. Is it like, does he want to go down in his last season as being a lower ranked player? I don't think he's going to have issues getting into events. I'm sure he'll be given wild cards to whatever he wants to play. That's not the issue. It's more the fact that, does he want to end on that regard, say losing to I don't want to just say a random name now because it's a bit rude, but like an Igor Gerasimov?
I don't think that he will. There's part of me that thinks he knows his body very well. He knows he's very realistic in his future, like I don't know what the word is, his future targets, let's say. And I think he knows that. He said it in that video that he's not under any impression that he's going to be able to do something that a 40-year-old can't do. So I think he will. If he won't want to drop down to like 50, 100, I think that
but he will. That's what I'm saying. After the surgery, he's going to.
Yeah, but there's part of me that thinks there's been a lot of
no, but what I'm saying, Ben, is he naturally will after surgery because he's not played, so he will be there and he's going to be trying to pick up points. He'll drop loads, mate. It depends how long he's out for. Because the rankings are going to be going back to normal, so he's going to lose all the points he was having before. I'm not sure. I can't give you an exact number, but it'll be way down the rankings, and he's going to be coming back there. So it's not a case of he will be. He's going to be around that thing. Is it worth continuing where you are there if you can't?
It will just be a wild card entry again. No, but it would just be wild card entries from that. I don't think that he'll ever be able to get back to that top 5 or top 10. I think he'll just have to take wild cards, and yeah, he should rightly get them, in my eyes. I think if he comes back, we've only got maybe a year, 2 years max if he wants to keep competing. After that, I don't think it's realistic.
You reckon 2 years after he's back, he can compete for?
I think that if he wants to, he should. But then after that, I don't think
that's mental to me. For me, he's going to come back, and I reckon we'll get, if we're lucky, a match or two.
Really?
I just find it crazy. There's not just you. There's everyone on Twitter and stuff. I find it very bizarre. I think a lot of you are slightly delusional, and I think you're just living off more hope than anything. It's not realistic for me. I think this in itself could be a retirement video. There's a high possibility we'll never see him again play tennis. And if we are to, I think it's going to be one event. It might be a Wimbledon, a Laver Cup, something like that. He's not going to be competing at the top level, and that will be it, ultimately. But I don't think he's going to... I think, mate, everyone's hoping he's going to be, we'll have him back and he'll be another 2. So you think he'll be playing at 42, 43? It's not happening.
All that they're hoping for is when he does come back, that the injury doesn't put him back out of action again. If it doesn't, he might be able to play for 6 months. And it might not be at the best top Roger Federer level, but he might be able to still stay on the tour and play some tennis and make some people happy around the world by going to events. And I know it's not nice to be somebody who's sort of making up numbers, but he draws in crowds wherever he goes. It doesn't matter if he's playing in Ecuador, if he's playing in, no matter which tournament, those stands are packed to see Roger Federer. And even if he's not the old Roger Federer, he's just going to be an old Roger Federer. They'll still pack the stands to see him because he's just a celebrity. And
I've never doubted that. That's not going to be the issue. I think selling tickets won't be the issue. It'll be his body.
Yeah.
and I think that's what's going to give up on him. I don't think it's just too hard, man. You got George here saying, I agree. I think he can hardly move out there now. 42 years is impossible. This could very much be the end, personally. But I'm hoping he's not going to want to do it he was going to want to retire on his own terms, which makes me think he will come back maybe for one tournament, even a match, if I'm honest, at a tournament.
I think he'll try to come back for a tournament for sure. I just have that, unless the knee is really bad after the surgery, it doesn't ever recover.
Yeah, of course, we've got to factor into how the surgery goes. You never know.
Yeah, you don't
surgery
know.
doesn't have a 100% success rate, does it?
Exactly. You can't ever say, "Oh, he's coming out of this and he'll be recovered in 6 months." That's the estimate. If somebody does recover properly from it, he might just come out of it. He might go into training. He might just say, "It doesn't feel right at all. I can't. There's no way I can play tennis." And then he just released another statement saying, "Sorry, I've got to retire," and that's it. That could be it. And I wouldn't say anything negative towards that. I would say, well done. You retired at the right time. Don't go out there, and it's just embarrassing. Otherwise, you're just ruining your legacy. Going out on court, getting like absolutely thrashed by some youngster, that doesn't do you any good, does it?
Yeah, I said maybe he'll come back and play some doubles with Wawrinka.
Yeah, why
I think
not?
no one would be opposed to that. That'd be quite fun to see.
I would be happy to see him do something like that. Like do like an exhibition tour, that type of thing, where you're not putting your body through the same sort of thing. That would do so many numbers if he was on an exhibition tour. I mean, obviously it does well these days with the likes of, obviously, the people like Agassi and people like that do it. You get Federer on there. Don't
quote me on this. I think he's spoken out about this before, and he said he's opposed to it. But I remember someone saying it in the live chat before, but things change. He may have rethought it after COVID. I think everyone's got a different mindset on a lot of things, what they thought before. Exactly. So it's certainly a possibility. But yeah, that's the big news. Federer out of the US Open, out for however many months. Second knee surgery. Oh, I'm sure it's probably more than 2. He's been having plenty of different things wrong with him for some time, and this is just sort of the tip of the iceberg for him. And it's a bit difficult one for him to come back from.
Yeah, I think it's a bit sad as well. Obviously, the surface that everyone was looking forward to watching him play on was obviously going to be Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And that is the surface that is arguably the most dangerous for him to play on at his age, with obviously you see him falling over, that type of thing. That's not going to work well for. I don't know if that's the best surface for him in his current situation. You saw what happened to Serena there as well.
Well, especially the first week of Wimbledon. I don't think he can afford to do that. You see, remember the first match on centre court, Draper versus Djokovic. I think they both went down about 10 times. So if he is going to save himself out for Wimbledon, just hopefully he's not playing very early on.
Well, yeah, you just have to keep him off centre court. I don't know if it's possible.
I think it was court 1 and centre court as well. Yeah,
I know. Just try and let them play on one of the courts for a few weeks prior, and put him onto that court. But yeah, he can't be falling over on court, especially with those problems. Serena went out straight away after she went tumbling, and obviously we saw Manarino went out to Federer because of his fall.
Yeah.
So very, very sad. Anyway. What was our next topic that we're going to be discussing? Obviously, sad to see Federer disappearing again for another long spell. But did you want to look on the tweets, or have we covered most of those tweets already?
Yeah, I think we've done Federer. Let's sort of look on to something a little bit more positive, because we like to do that. We like to mix the withdrawals with some positive news at the end. I know the other episode we had teams coming back.
Yes.
What have we got today?
Oh, mate, which one is this? The one that did you send this one to me as well?
Yeah.
Was it?
Sorry, I thought you had it up.
No, I had all the Federer ones up. That was all. Is it the to do with the rankings?
Yeah, the ranking stuff you can bring up.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have it, otherwise I can share it.
I got the Jose Morgado. He's always very, very on the ball with some new career highs on the ATP Top 100, which are quite interesting.
Yeah, I think the topic is a lot of the time now rankings, because we're coming to that stage where the rankings are going to return to normal. And there's some good players here. Look, Casper Ruud, he's really knocking on the door now for the top 10. I think he makes up number 8 for the race to Turin as well, which is great for him. No surprises. He's won, 3 tournaments in a row, and playing very well on hard courts now as well. So Indeed. He's the new number 11. We've got Pelka, played very well this week. He's 23. Harris, 46. Duckworth gone under the radar. We've not spoke about him, but he's been picking up some good results. He's 69. And Nakashima, we did a podcast to him. Hey. He's broke the top 100 and he's solidifying himself now. Next top 50, I think.
Yeah, quite possible. All of those people that are ahead of Brandon Nakashima at the moment, he's in He's within touching distance. So let's say he gets 200 points, something like that at a tournament. It moves him up nearly 20 or 30 places. That's how tight those rankings are. We're in and around like 50 to 90. So close. And if you're in one of those big tournaments, they dish out some big points as well. You go deep in there. I know that Casper Ruud, he'll be looking to try and move up. He wants to try and overtake Shapo, trying to get into that top 10 as well. That's really exciting. And we can't not mention Opelka. I mean, Opelka's done fantastically. Obviously, it wasn't the best showing. We did the watch along last night for the Medvedev match, and it's just a bridge too far, let's say. Medvedev just so much better and made it look easy against Opelka. I felt a bit bad for Opelka at stages. He ran out of answers of how to beat Medvedev, but you can't deny he's moving up the rankings still, and he'll be a threat now going into Cincinnati as well.
Yeah.
A big server.
Yeah, there's a few of them in the race to Turin who will be playing Cincinnati, which is good to see. You got obviously, well, Djokovic won't be, but he's the number one there. Tsitsipas second, Medvedev third, Berrettini fourth, Rublev fifth, Zverev sixth, Rafa's in seven. So hopefully he can hold on to it. That's another thing in doubt. Maybe Rafa might not qualify for the race to Turin. Depends when we're going to see him back. Is he going to play US Open?
We'll wait and see.
Don't think so. And then Casper Ruud there in eighth. You got just the ones missing out at the moment is Hurkacz. He's about 100 points off it, and Sinner. And you got Karatsev and Shapo there as well. So there's some good chasing pack. It's hotting up.
Hurkacz he'll be looking forward to this next tournament as well. Obviously, he's great on those American hard or in North American hard courts. I think that he stands a real good chance at the next Masters as well. Cincinnati, he'll be trying to look to get one back over on Medvedev after that was probably arguably the toughest match for Medvedev in that Toronto one. I can bring up the other one that you were wanting to share as well.
Nice.
And it was to do with the rankings, with obviously Novak losing 1,000 points, and it's going to be Medvedev. Can he, get that number one spot? I believe if he wins in Cincinnati, he can get that number one spot. But let's read it out anyway. It says Novak could lose the number one to Medvedev or Tsitsipas at the end of the US Open, but they would need to win Cincy and the US Open for Nole to lose, early at the US Open. I mean, it's not that likely he'll lose early for me.
Well, it doesn't have to be that early. So read the next bit. To keep the world number one, it's enough for Novak to make the US Open semi-finals. So potentially, if he goes out before the semi-finals, quarterfinals, which I've always said this with Djokovic, if he's going to lose a Grand Slam, it'll probably be earlier on. I don't think he's going to lose one in the final or the semis. So it's more feasible. If he's not to win it, it'll probably be earlier on. Just the way it is. He's such a great player. The closer he gets to the business end, the more he's going to go into God mode. And with Medvedev, the way he's looking, I know he's going to be really fatigued. He's certainly going to be fatigued going into Cincinnati. He's got the buyout in the first round. If he's able to win that, big favourite. He could not a big favourite, but the second biggest favourite for the US Open, probably.
Well, arguably, it's got to be similar to the Australian Open. And I know that it says there Tsitsipas could be up there as well. For me, I think Medvedev, this is his sort of time of the year now. You're going through Toronto, you go through Cincinnati, the US Open, then we've got all of the hard court events coming up towards the end of the year. You know how good he was at the end of last year.
Well, listen to this. So in the 4 seasons, he's never won a title in spring. All of his titles in summer, autumn, and winter, all of them. So he's defending. This next run he's got is a crazy amount of points he's to defend, but this is when he comes to life, and we've already seen it in the first one in Canada, won the Masters title there. So watch out for Medvedev. But yeah, enough about all of that. The big thing we was going to talk about was Roger Federer. I think we spoke about that enough. Was there any last words you wanted to say on that?
No, just hopefully we get the surgery goes well. Our wishes go out to him, and hopefully we get to see him back on court next year. Yeah,
exactly that. We're going to wrap it up. If you haven't already, hit the like button on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I've got to go back to work.
Indeed. Take it easy, guys.